Hey everybody, welcome to the 6th grade podcast. This is Miss Brown. I'm joined by Mr. Gornto and Miss Canario. We're going to talk about asteroids, comets, meteors, meteorites, and meteoroids today. So getting started with asteroids. Asteroids is simply a small rocky body that orbits the sun. They're mostly rocky. They do have some metal. They have irregular shapes. They're much bigger than meteoroids, but they're smaller than planets. And as you can see here in the diagram, they are found between Mars and Jupiter. This is the asteroid belt that we find all of the asteroids in.
All right, so I'm going to talk to you about comets for a minute. A comet is simply a small body of ice, rock, and cosmic dust that's packed together. So sometimes they're called dirty snowballs because they are made of ice, and they have 3 different parts to them. There's the main part here that is the part that's made of ice and rock, and then as it's moving, it has these 2 tails, the dust tail and then also the ion tail that's trailing behind it. Comets are thought to be made out in the Oort cloud, which is out past Pluto in the outer sections of our solar system. So a comet does revolve around the sun, and it kind of has a weird elliptical orbit. A lot of times they will come like this and get really close to the sun here and then slingshot all the way out really far into the outermost parts of our solar system. The thing about a comet is when it's further away from the sun, it doesn't really have the tails. So the tails begin to develop as it gets closer to the sun, and that's because, well, it's made out of ice. So when it gets closer to the sun, it's going to start melting the ice. So the dust tail, which is trailing behind it right here, is really just made of debris that's coming off of the comet as it's melting and getting closer to the sun. The ion tail is a little different and a little bit more complicated, but the ion tail, because of some issues in radiation from the sun, will always kind of be moving in a different way as opposed to the dust tail, which is always behind the movement of the comet. The ion tail is going to be pointing away from the sun. All right, so comets are called dirty snowballs. They only have 1 M in them, and they orbit the sun making repeated trips. One of the more famous of the comets is Halley's Comet, or sometimes pronounced as Halley's Comet, and it comes every 75 to 76 years, and the next time it's coming is going to be 2061.
So I'm going to talk to you about meteoroids. Meteoroids are small rocky bodies that orbit the sun. They're thought to be broken off pieces of asteroids. They're smaller than asteroids that are in outer space. Now, the big thing is knowing the difference between meteoroid, meteor, and meteorite. Meteor is a bright streak of light from a meteoroid burning up in the atmosphere. So when it's in space, before it's entered Earth's atmosphere, it's a meteoroid. Then once it enters the atmosphere and it starts to burn up, it becomes a meteor. Shooting stars are really just meteor showers. These are just these meteors burning up within the atmosphere. And then once that actually hits the surface, it becomes a meteorite. That's the end of our 6th grade podcast. Thank you for listening. Be ready to take your test on Thursday. If you're not going to be here Thursday, please let your teacher know. That way we can make arrangements to have you take your test on Wednesday. Or if you're leaving early Thursday, we can have you take it earlier Thursday. Have a great day.